Hallo, herzlich willkommen. Ich bin Susanne. In this video, I will explain in English, though my examples will be in German, the three different meanings of the verb werden. I received a viewer's question. Würden Sie bitte ein Video über das Verb werden machen? Would you please make a video about the verb werden? Thank you, Lauren, for this question. I'm not sure whether this is your real name, and I'm also not sure whether I pronounce your name correctly, but this video is for you and for anyone who would love to learn more about the verb werden. I will explain in English. All my examples will be in German. And the video will have three parts because the verb werden has three meanings. And I will stay in present tense in terms of the verb werden, because if I would dive into different grammatical tenses today, the video probably will be overwhelmingly complex. So I keep it simple and I focus on the meaning of the verb. Please stay until the end of the video if you are happy to do a little test, little homework if you will, or a little task, so you know whether you understood the different meanings of the verb. Yeah, first, I would like to say that I probably look very light in this video. It is a beautiful sunny day. Spring is coming and the sun is so strong. Es ist ein wundervoller Frühlingstag und die Sonne scheint ganz stark. I hope you can see me well, nevertheless. Let's dive into the topic. First, I would like to conjugate with you the verb. Let's go. In present tense. Werden. Ich werde. Du wirst. Er, sie, es wird. Wir werden. Ihr werdet. Sie werden. You can see that the du form and the he and the she form look slightly different to all the other forms. Yes, so learn that by heart. It is an irregular verb. Now let's start with the first meaning of werden. I will give you lots of example sentences first. And then we dive into detail and I will explain more. The first meaning of werden is to become. In English, sometimes also you would translate it as to get or to turn, but always in the meaning of to become. You'll see what I mean. Here are my examples. Ich werde Psychologin. Laura wird Yogalehrerin. I become a psychologist. Laura becomes a yoga teacher. Er wird mit seiner Idee reich. He becomes rich. This is an adjective, reich. He becomes rich with his idea. In English, you would probably say he gets rich. Sie wird nervös. Nervös is also an adjective. She becomes nervous. Probably she gets nervous. Die Blätter werden im Herbst braun. Braun is also an adjective. Die Blätter werden, they turn brown in autumn. They are in the process of becoming. They turn brown. Sie wird 10 Jahre alt. She turns 10. She becomes 10. She's in the process of becoming older. She turns 10. Kai wird im Mai 45. He turns 45 in May. He is in the process of becoming older, 45. Kai wird müde. Müde is also an adjective. He gets tired. He is in the process of becoming tired. He is getting tired. Es wird kalt. It gets cold. The weather is in the process of becoming colder. It gets cold. So in all these sentences, in English you have a few more words. Sometimes you would translate it as become, sometimes as get, sometimes as turn. However, it is one meaning, a bigger meaning behind it. It's a change, a state of change. And in the process of becoming, that's the meaning. In German, we only have one verb for that, werden. You can also see in all of these examples you have just heard that the verb is a Vollverb, the main verb, ein normales Verb, the normal verb. It carries the full meaning of the sentence. Here's another example. Ich möchte Psychologin werden. Also here, werden means to become, and möchte is your auxiliary verb, your modal verb. I would like to become. Here, the meaning is still to become. Even though we have two verbs, I want you to see it still is a full verb, it still is your main verb. I would like to become. So it is not the only verb, but it's still your main verb. Yeah. So basically that is the first meaning of werden. In English, you may use to get or to turn as your translation. In German, we only have the verb werden. But with all the examples, maybe it is a bit clearer now. That's the first meaning of werden. So you can use it with a noun, psychologist, or yoga teacher, as in my examples, or adjectives like tired or nervous, or numbers. She turns 10, he turns 45. Let's go to the second part of this video, and that means the second meaning of the verb werden. Now it is not the main verb. Now it is your auxiliary verb. We say in German Hilfsverb. First, let's look at some examples. And in all of these examples, we express future tense. Zukunft. Ich werde nächstes Jahr Spanien besuchen. I will visit. Lisa wird ab Januar in Köln studieren. Lisa will study. Matti wird eine Weltreise machen. Matti will do a world trip. Meine Mutter wird mich anrufen. My mother will call me. Wir werden das Buch lesen. We will read. Werdet ihr einen Kuchen backen? Will you bake? Ich werde Psychologin werden. I will become. In all of these sentences, we're talking about the verb that is in second position as your auxiliary verb, will. He will, I will, you will. The main meaning of your sentence is at the end of the sentence. You can see we have a second verb at the very end of the sentence in its infinitive form. Ich werde werden. Lisa wird studieren. Matti wird machen. Meine Mutter wird anrufen. So that is now your sentence structure. You have werden in second position as your auxiliary verb. You will. The main meaning is at the end in the Vollverb. And all these sentences express now something that will happen in future. So werden in this meaning is expressing the future tense. That something will happen. Whatever will happen is at the end of the sentence expressed the verb that is in its infinitive form. So that is the second meaning of the verb werden. We already come to our third part of the video the third meaning of werden. The third meaning of werden. Werden is used when we use passive voice. If you are at A1, A2 level, you may not have learned passive voice yet, so don't worry, just listen and absorb it anyway. I give you 4 examples and then I explain a little more. Das Haus wird gebaut. Das Paket wird gesendet. Die Postkarte wird geschrieben. Die Hausaufgaben werden gemacht. In all of these sentences, you can see a verb at the end in its perfect tense. We also say in Partizip 2 form, im Partizip 2, perfect. Gebaut, gesendet, geschrieben, gemacht. The passive voice is exactly like that, and it means it is being built. It is being sent, or it's in the process of being sent. It's being written, it's being made. Wird is in all of these sentences in present tense. It means it's in the process of. It's not past tense, but it's in the process of. I show you the difference of active and passive so you understand a bit more. Das Haus wird gebaut is passive because we don't know who is building it. We only understand the action that is taking place, but we don't really know the actor who is doing the action. Active would be mein Vater baut das Haus. Excuse me. Mein Vater baut das Haus. Now we know who's building the house. My father is building the house. In passive voice, it's not really important who is doing it. More important is what is happening. So, das Haus wird gebaut. The house is being built right now. And that's passive voice. And that is the third meaning of werden. It may be complex to you now. If you are at A2 level, then you may say, oh, what is passive voice? So you can recognize passive voice if you look at the end of the sentence and the verb is in perfect form. And then you know it's passive. The house is being built in this case. These are the 3 meanings. Of course, werden can have different tenses, but I'm not going to go there. I said at the beginning of the video, I will stay in present tense. Otherwise, it will all become too overwhelming and complex in this video. And just to give you a short summary, we had in part 1, we talked about the werden as in become, in the process of, something is changing. It's your voll verb. It carries the full meaning of the sentence. In English, you can translate it as to become, to get, to turn. In the second part of the video, we talked about the second meaning, and it expresses future tense. He will, I will, they will, and at the end of the sentence, you have a infinitive, a verb in infinitive, and you then can see what will happen. And then in the third part of the video, we talked about the third meaning of werden, and that is used then in the passive voice. Okay, and now I have a task for you, a homework or a little test. I will give you 3 sentences, and you tell me what is the meaning of the verb werden in this sentence. Is it meaning 1, first part of the video? Is it meaning 2, second part of the video? Or is it meaning 3, third part of the video? My first sentence: Der Salat wird gemacht. Is werden passive voice here? Is it future tense here? Or is it become, get, turn? Second sentence. Meine Tochter möchte Tänzerin werden. What meaning has werden in this sentence? To become, or is it future tense, or is it passive voice? Third sentence. Morgen wird es regnen. What meaning has werden in this sentence? Is it to become, or to get, or to turn? Is it future, or is it passive voice? This is your task. I would love to see your answers underneath this video, of course. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I will answer. And for now, I wish you a wonderful day, a wonderful Easter week, and ich wünsche euch ein wundervolles Osterwochenende. Bis bald, tschüss und auf Wiedersehen.